Hey everybody, Tommy G here,
That PJ.
and we're taxiing out to the runway here at Atlanta, and we're just getting a couple. We Pete and I got a couple scores before we start talking about what happened and now what we're doing in the off season. But as we're getting on this flight, we got four scores coming over the ticker. So Pete and I were going to take a look at them one at a time. You ready to see who did what, Pete?
I certainly am.
So yeah, just to see the detailed bracket again, what this is we're going to see the scores from the first series of each. So first, I think it's South Palm versus Cannon, right? Yeah, yeah. So we got Lefty, South Palm, Rhiannon, Cannon. It's the Sawtooth versus the Moose. Who do you think's going to win it?
I think it's going to be the Moose.
I think it's going to be the Moose as well. This is in the Motor Yard in Detroit. Let's find out. Why don't you tell us what happens here, Pete?
All right. So the Sawteeth taking on the Moose. Sawteeth out to an early lead. They're going to hold on and win 3-1.
Oh, how about that? All right.
Sawteeth 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, crazy.
So the
I
Sawtooth
never would have thunk it.
take that first one on the road, the underdogs, and 3-1 too. So one, but that's a low scoring game. There's some good defense there.
It certainly is good pitching too. That's one of the other things you'll notice about the playoff teams is they tend to have good pitching.
Yeah.
So they keep the ball in the park, tend to be low scoring games. If you find one that's high scoring, that's probably a really good game to watch.
Yeah. Well, so if it's gonna be Fabio versus Rockman in that next one, but right now we're gonna look over to the Swordfish at the Wide Loads. This is big. This is big. So San Juan's first playoff game in franchise history. It's Caleb Lee versus Chuck Bourbony, and who do you think's gonna take this one, Pete?
I'm going to say the Swordfish.
Oh, you think it's gonna be an underdog first game? I think it'll be the Wide Loads at Apple Field here. Let's find out. I'll tell you this one. Here goes. Things start off. Swordfish jump out to 3-0 lead. Wide Loads get two. They tie it. Swordfish come back. It's back and forth, and the Swordfish do take it 6-5. Wow, that was close.
It was, especially after the Swordfish jumped out to that 3-0 lead in the first inning.
Yeah.
I thought for sure they were going to walk away with it, but yeah, it sounded like a good battle there.
So in our conference, both the top teams dropped the first game, and both the underdogs are both the Fish are, have taken that first one. And wow, yeah. So now the Moose and the Wide Loads, who are favorites, have to win two straight to go the next round.
Yeah, yeah, put themselves in a difficult situation, that's for sure. But again, the Moose and the Wide Loads, they can do it. So you can't sleep in the playoffs because one loss gets you tied, and then all of a sudden you've got all that pressure on that last game. And again, the I guess I think you would have to lean toward the favorite in those deciding games.
Yeah. All right, so that next one for those teams is going to be Kelly versus Deals. But next, we got one of the best pitchers in the game, Alicia Woodrow, starting for the defending championship San Diego Moonstars against the new ascendant Montreal Wax Bills with a whole bunch of new players. In fact, our old friend Sturdy Woodman's playing for that team. Who do you think's taking this one, Pete?
Oof. I lean toward Alicia Woodrow, but when you look at Cynthia Cannon, she's no, she's no slacker over there either. She's got a pretty good arm. I guess I'm gonna go with the Wax Bills. I think they're the favorites.
Yep, I'm thinking the Wax Bills, but I'm hoping the Moonstars. So why don't you tell us what happened, man?
All right, so the Moonstars take an early lead. Wax Bills come back. It's a back and forth battle. Ultimately, it's going to be the Moonstars 7-6 in the end. Tommy.
Wow, so far it's a battle of the underdogs. All the underdogs taking the first game. Wax Bills favored to win that one. They score 6 runs and still lose it. And last year's champs are one win away from going to the semifinals.
Yeah.
And all the home
Wow.
teams losing as well too. So much for home team advantage. Montreal's first
Exactly.
playoff game at Le Stade Royal, and they get dumped by last year's champs. How about that? Yeah, we
Wow.
got two expansion teams in this. The San Juan and Montreal. One wins, the one loses. But so yeah, it looks like that next one's going to be Slip Souter against Grubs. All right. Well, one more to go, and that's our old freebooters versus the Heaters. Who do you think's taking this?
Oh, I don't know. I have not had any luck. I don't. Have I been right? I don't think I've been. Think I've been 1 out of 3.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
No, 2, I
I
think. I
guess
think you
I'm
picked the
gonna
last 2 underdogs.
I think I'm going with the Heaters. I'm gonna go with the Heaters.
Heaters, I think, are favored, right? What did we say? The Heaters. Yeah, Heaters are favored. That would
Yeah.
be the first favor there to win. I'm gonna go with the Freebooters. Keep it
Alright.
all underdogs. Winnie Noel versus Elmo Slayer. This is down in Mexico at Ciudad Colores. So Mexico gets their first playoff game. Here it comes. I'll take this one. Heaters jump out first. Freebooters come up. Go ahead. Heaters come back. The Freebooters win it. A grand slam. Did you see that?
I did
I
not.
think I think someone on the Freebooters got a grand slam in Ciudad Colores, and our old team takes it for wow. Every underdog won that first game.
Yeah,
Every visiting team.
that's crazy.
Yeah,
I don't
and
even know how you could do that.
2 of them were one run games. One of them was a 2-run game, and then that Freebooters was a 4-run. It's bananas in it. All right, well that's going to be then. So that
It
next
is.
the
It is pretty.
next one with them is Dieguez versus Fuller, and that's going to be okay. So let's go back. So we'll have to decide if we want to watch any of these games on our own. But right now we're going to look out the window here and see where we're at on this taxiway, Pete. And yeah, well here's the plane run. We're gonna an A321. We got an American flight back to. We figured American back to Dallas, Pete. So that's where A321.
That's all right with me.
Yeah, we got an earlier flight. Now we're leaving out. I think it's like 8:30 local. Nice day for flying here, as you could see, and we're on the runway. I think we're gonna get up pretty soon. Just low clouds, night, way different conditions than coming in,
Yeah, yeah, it was a bit of a bumpy flight on the way in,
and we should be home by mid.
but
What?
but it was a bumpy stay in Atlanta though too. So
Yeah.
the flight matched our stay.
672 miles. We're leaving 27, right? Getting the Geek 7, 28,000 feet. The Coyote or Cookie 7. I don't know what that is. It's a 31, right? Anywho, and yeah, here we are.
Here we go.
So, yeah, so it's over, man.
Yeah, it is, and it didn't end the way we would have liked. As a matter of fact, it didn't end anywhere close. I mean, even if you lose a close one to end the season, you at least feel like you were fighting the entire time. That one, we just got blown out again.
Yeah.
Just fell apart. Not a lot of offense. Pitching wasn't there. Had some defensive mistakes. Had some issues just all the way around. Again, hopefully we go into this off season, we'll pick up a couple extra pieces here, but I think we got a good structure. I just think we're a couple of pieces away from being a real contender.
Yeah, I mean, we'd hope to end on a, when we came in here, we were running the 3. I think our window's like right at the eye there of American. We came in here thinking, well, if we win one last game after winning 3 straight to come in here, we could end up with the winning record, and that would be a nice way to end the season. Even though we found out just before that game that we were knocked out when the Swordfish took that game. So that was a bit of a letdown, but up until this, this last day, we had a shot and we could have been in it, but it seemed so close, and then we lose this game so ugly. Like we lost ugly a handful of times this season, and double-digit score.
Handfuls.
Yeah,
two handfuls. Well, yeah, 10 out of 38 games, we gave up double digits in runs. We didn't lose all of those games, but we lost the majority of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, that's what I'm talking about, and I don't understand it because we did improve the pitching staff over the course of the season. So I don't know. Do you jettison pitchers, or do you kind of go, okay, well, they got off to a bad start, we'll just have to make sure they do better in the following season? I know we talked about speed. There's not a lot of speed on this team, but as we looked, it almost seems like if you're going to pick up speed, you're going to lose fielding, or you're going to lose contact. You're going to, you know, what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like, so do you want to sacrifice? I think on some level we're going to have to figure out who we can sacrifice, because I do think we need to pick up some more speed on the base paths.
Yeah, I mean, and I thought there's still, you know, I'm still at this point where I don't know how much of this is, you know, the game. In a sense that there was several situations, and we found it more times this year where, you know, we'd play the same game, and all of a sudden we're just handcuffed, and there's nothing we could do,
Yeah.
and it doesn't matter what pitcher's in there, and it doesn't even matter what kind of pitches you're throwing. Like I know, like even in this last one, you know, they hit him down the line into the gaps. And, you know, okay, that's a thing that happens, but with such regularity that it's like, at one point I'm like, okay, I threw a slider, and it was basically gonna land in the dirt. And whoever it was reaches down, golfs it down the third base line. And I'm like,
Yeah.
you're swinging a cricket, you know, at a cricket pitch down low
Right.
with a golf swing. There's no way it's gonna be a grounder on the line to third base. It's just, physics doesn't work that you're gonna either lift that thing. It's either going to be a short liner or it's going to be a pop up. Not
Yeah.
and you can't aim it down the third base line when it's in the dirt. Yeah, I don't know. So it's just,
Right.
those are the points where it's just like, what even is that? How do you
Yeah.
compensate for that, or can you?
And
But
yeah, and like you said, I don't know if that's just arbitrary, or if the you know, if it's taking a little bit from previous outings. Like I said, we did have at least 10 games where we gave up double-digit runs. So,
yeah,
and we've talked about the sports games before. It used to drive me crazy, especially I always refer to the NHL games, because if you had a goaltender who had a bad day, he'd have a bad day for the next 10 games.
yeah,
'Cause,
yeah, like single them out. Yeah,
yeah, and it was like until you could get him to a point where he could, you know, overcome that. That would just be part of his routine then, and I wonder if that's kind of part of it too. Is that, you know, you get pitchers, even though he's a B minus pitcher, but he's had some bad outings, so he's
Yeah.
prone to have bad outings. You know,
yeah, yeah. And that was
that's why I was saying, it's like, do we jettison them, or do we next year try to prevent them from, you know, if they start giving up hits, pull them. Don't, you know what I mean? Don't let them stay in too long, because then they'll run their ERA up and they'll be more prone to have more games like that, you know?
Yeah, I mean there was a couple times I think where we brought in another pitcher and then they got shelled as well, and it's kind of like, well,
Yeah.
then what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
if the game is decided, no, this guy's gonna have a crap game, and you get somebody else in, that's, you would think, the remedy, and then that person has a crap game. It's like, well, what are we
Yeah.
supposed to do now? Have the first baseman, you know? But there were a couple times. I don't know. Yeah, I don't want to be too sore about that.
Right.
This is the only season we played in this game yet, so there's nothing really to compare it to. We compared it to Super Mega 3. We never saw anything like that, and we had some one-sided losses in that as well.
Yeah. But we had a much better pitching staff with the B Wolves.
Yeah, yeah,
We had a superstar. We had a couple, you know,
Yeah.
and that, I think, so it just elevated the entire pitching staff. So
yeah.
we don't have that with the Ramblers, and we still, I mean, Danny Bowers is still a C. What is he? C minus ranked pitcher. So
Yeah. His name's
we
not,
brought in
his name's
Gary,
not
we
even
brought
Danny.
Yeah, Donnie Brewer, or whatever.
Although it never
Donnie
was.
Bauer.
Yeah,
That's it,
yes, Donnie Bowers.
Donnie Bauer. He's C minus ranked. I'm not going to bother to learn
Right,
his
right.
name. He's on a bus tomorrow. So
Yeah. Who?
send
Danny
him back
who?
to the Hay States. Let
Right.
that guy go back to the Hay States.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So. Oh.
I was just going to say, so we brought in Mitch Berry and Lad Bradwick, and they both elevated. We did go up a degree in the pitching category. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping, you know.
Yeah. Well, so this is how it ended. We end up in third place, which, I mean, same record as those Wildcats, but those Wildcats leapfrogged us and ended up in the second place, and then we end up third out of 4 teams, which is pretty bad. We only one game different, one win more than Chicago, so it was a tight 18-19 and then 21. I mean, it was a tight. The Central was a tight division.
Yeah, and if Chicago would have won another game, we would have been in last place because and it's that run differential. I mean, -66, the worst in the league
Yeah.
this season, the worst in the league, and that's what we're talking about. That goes back to the pitching again. We talk about the game, but we also had a couple of glitch games in there that I'm almost positive that a couple of those games were double digits. So.
Yeah.
And then you talk about that precedent thing, and you're like, well, that if that set a precedent for, then we got that creates problems.
Yeah. Boy, and then our last year's B-Wolves ended up at the bottom.
Yeah.
But 18-20, only one game difference, really, as far as record goes.
Right. Again, another tough division.
Yeah. And then the playoffs started like this. This is the matchup. We had the Sawteeth and the Moose Swordfish in the wide loads, Moonstars, Wax Bills, and I don't remember in the I'm sorry, just to finish off the Freebooters and the Heaters. I know at the end of the last game I said, who do you think is going to be, and we did all that. And I don't remember what it was. We did it again before this, but this is how it ended up being in that first one. And yeah, the every underdog won that first round.
Yeah, it took and like you say, the home field advantage. They play 1-1-1. So the first game was at the proverbial favorites home stadium, and the visitors took one. Now they got to go back to the visitor stadium and try to hold court and then bring it back home. But yeah, it looks like it's gonna be a pretty exciting second round of the playoffs.
Yeah, and the way this works, it's a best of 3 for each series.
Right.
So any one of those teams that won wins one more, and it's over. It's a sweep. So the Moose, the Wide Loads, the Wax Bills, and the Heaters all have to win 2 straight to take their. It's possible. I mean, those teams are great teams.
Right.
I don't know if the Moose are going at this point. I think the Sawteeth will win. I don't know if they'll win in 3 or 2. But I don't think the Moose will come back. I think the Wide Loads can, and the Wax Bills can. I think the Heaters. I think at this point, I think the Sawteeth will win that one. I think the Wide Loads, the Wax Bills, and the Heaters will all 3 come back and win theirs. I don't know. So anyway, all of these series are on the verge. So let me know if you think you want to watch any of those sometime in the near future. If not, we can always simulate that next round and just go to the next round if you don't feel like watching any of this. But if there's any of those you want to watch, or you're like, oh, this team might close out, let me know.
Actually, I don't really know. I was just thinking about that. I'm like, if there were any games, it would probably be a game between the 1 and 4. I don't even know. No, I guess it would be the 2 and 3 because they're more closely matched.
Or we could.
So they would be a little bit more exciting, although they just won. So.
Or you could even we could even simulate the second round and not watch the sweeps, and if any of them go to like a third game, watch one of those.
That's what. Yeah, I'm thinking. I'm leaning towards that. Yeah, because really it comes down to. I don't really feel any, even with the Freebooters, I don't feel any kind of connection to any of those teams. So
yeah.
Like I say, if we simulate the second round and then there's tiebreakers, maybe that would be interesting to watch. But I'm more interested in getting into the second round of the finals. Let's see who's going to win it. You know what I mean? Let's see who puts it away.
Right. All right. Well, I figured
that we may wind up watching 2 games there because obviously it's a best of 3 there too.
Yeah.
So once a team wins the first game, every game after that could be the title. So
right.
You wind up watching.
So yeah, and then what I think we'll do here, on the channel, if we watch a game, we'll record. If we watch games, we'll record them, and if it's not the final, I'll upload them for a week to my Tommy Naperville on Twitch. So if you want to visit that and see if there's any other of these games before the final, you can. If we end up watching them, you can check there. Otherwise, I will post the final game that we watch whenever it's won to see who wins, and that way you get to anyone who's been watching, following us for the season, can see who the champs were and how it all played out.
Yeah, and we'll more than likely once that game ends, we'll probably just get a little bit into. I mean, because don't they announce who's retiring and stuff right after the final game?
Yeah, I believe. Yeah, I believe
Okay.
so. Yeah, then at that point you find out, yeah, who's decided to hang up the cleats and stuff
Right.
like that, and then it'll also show what what people's asking. It'll, yeah, and who retirements. Yeah, I think retirements, and then I think I don't know if it also
And people
says,
who leave the team to go try the test
yeah,
the
the
free
market.
agent market.
I believe that's true.
So we'll do that, and then we're gonna that will be like the last of Super Mega Baseball 4 for this season, and then we'll
Yeah.
have, what were we saying, 5 or 6 months off?
Yeah, it's like 6 months off. Somewhere in there. I don't know when. I think maybe, in advance of the season. I think we'd want to do the off-season stuff because I
Right.
know, more than a month before, we'd like to know what our team looks like, and then we can start thinking about the season. But yeah, so
Yeah.
I guess as we get into the second phase of this flight, where are we at now? We're in. I'm sorry. Hold on a second.
Indiana.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we're about to get our drinks. We're about to level off here, and then on the way down, we'll talk about what we're thinking strategy for next season.
Okay.
What do you think of that?
I think it's good.
Good. And then other
I think
things.
drinks are good.
Yeah. And then other things in the off season too. The off season be fun. We're gonna golf.
Yeah.
We're gonna farm.
Yeah.
We're
We
gonna drive.
got a lot of stuff. We gotta escape some back rooms. We're gonna be doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Driving truck. Arkansas is gonna be joining the map, so lots to do.
Yeah. We'll get my we'll get our license on the 16th to deliver to Arkansas. All right.
Yeah.
And here comes the flyby, because this is what we look like from the ground. There we are. And we'll talk to you on our way down into Dallas. And we're on our way down into Dallas. It seems so instantaneous, even after
It
a
does.
2.5 hour flight.
Air travel.
Yeah. It's been. I kind of like doing this passenger series this season. It's a lot of extra stuff. I know it's not going to be like extremely popular, but it kind of gives you a flavor for how much travel you would actually endure. It's instead of just being here's a game. It's like, no, here's on the road.
Right.
Here you got to get to this place. Here you got to get to this place. And it's like, oh, that would be tiring.
Right, you got a travel day. You actually got to move. So, yeah, I've actually enjoyed it too. I was thinking that hopefully next season when we'll do it again, and we'll be a little bit. I want to be a little bit more knowledgeable for the conversation. We're just kind of doing kind of superficial conversation. Maybe get a little bit deeper. Start talking X's and O's a little bit more. So that's what I'm hoping that I can do for the passenger series next season.
Cool. Well, speaking of detail, yeah. So we grabbed this at the end of the season. These were our stats for the non-pitchers, and I mean, as you can see, that as far as we don't need hitting. We got two of the top batting averages, and two batters in the 400s, both led the league in batting average. We have a lot of them in the 300s. The ones in the 200s are in the high 200s, except for like John Contreras, who's only at 200. But someone ending the season in the real world at 200 isn't like standout. It isn't bad. Like 299, 297, you'd be like, that's pretty good. 310, 312, those are your bench players.
Yeah.
And we even had some people.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, well, that's just it. I mean, I don't know, and yet we had stretches of games where they couldn't buy a hit to save their lives.
Yeah.
And I don't understand that either. That there's something seems to be a little off on that. Why are those averages so high? Well, like I said, we went for a 7-game losing streak where we were struggling to get any sort of offense together, and yet we're still looking at Corbin Yurto with a 438 and Noah McLean with a .451. The on base percentages, those things are dry. That's what I was staring at. Was like,
Yeah.
we got Swindle Heath at 1.120 on base percentage. Corbin Hurta 1.170. Noah McLean 1.092. Fernando Beefy with a 1. It's like these guys were on base all the time.
Well, that's
like,
OPS.
why did we lose 7 games in a row?
Right, on base percentage is OBP, right?
Oh, but on base, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So what's OPS?
OPS. Look.
Well, either way, the on base percentages are high. So I mean, like I think we touched on it at some point. These guys they were getting hits, they were getting on base, and then we got a lot of stranding. You see the amount of those hits, and then the amount of RBIs is much lower.
OPS is on base plus slugging.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but that's So yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, we had some as far as RBIs goes. Now these are people actually making runs. The standouts are Heath, Huerta. I guess Heath, Huerta, and McLean all in the 20s.
Right.
Murillo pretty well at 19. Bellamy at 18. Paval at 19. Under that, like 15's okay, 14's okay. Below 10, I mean, LeBlanc and Lancaster, 10 RBIs in the whole season in 38 games. John Contreras only 5. Ken Bernal only 6. But I don't know if it's as much offense as it was defense. Now I know here a second here. If I go to pitching, ERA. So this is the tough part with me. I don't know if the losses are pitching or defense.
I think it's a little of both. I tend to feel like it's pitching, because a lot of times like you were talking about, they paint the lines, they put them in the alleys between left and center. Is it you or me? It's you.
Oh, that's me.
I got that this evening. So they're putting them in places where it's hard for players to make plays, but then you get back to the speed thing. If we had speedier fielders, they could track the ball down quicker, would cut down on how many bases they're getting, and maybe more people would die on base. But it always seems to me that when the pitching was good, it was good, but when it was off, it was like you were saying, it was just, we gave up double-digit runs 10 times this year. So
yeah.
So
Well, so if we look
how many home runs does it say where they give up? How many home runs?
HR there.
Yeah.
Looks like the most was Mitch Berry. It's gone.
And he wasn't even on the team that long.
Yeah.
It was only in 4 games he gave up 9 home runs. Ladd Bradwick gave up 5 in 6 games. See, that's what I'm saying. And I have a hard time believing that Mitch Berry, a B-ranked pitcher, and Ladd Bradwick, a B-plus ranked pitcher, are that bad.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that Fernando Beefy, he gave up 9. Leland Bull gave up 7, but he's like he's a reliever.
Yeah.
Fort Reliable gave up 5. Jay DeTesta gave up 3. He looked pretty good.
Yeah. Twist only gave up 1. I mean, so if we did say, okay, it's pitching, I'm looking at like the hits. I mean, well, Ladd pitched for so few games. I can't really gauge. I can't gauge him long term,
Yeah, he only pitched 6 games, and he gave up 40 hits, and 5 of them were home runs. So.
I don't know if that's indicative of his play, or if that was just we caught him at a bad time. I mean,
or if it was game situations. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Now Tobias Glover, 74 hits. Fernando Beefy, 82.
Yeah, and he pitched. Beefy was he pitched the last game of the season, and yeah, he just got hammered in the last game.
Now, I mean, but Beefy's ERA is not terrible. A 5.53 is not awful. Leland Bulls at a 5.87. More reliable. I thought he was doing much better, but he gave up. His ERA was not good. So as far as starters go, I mean, obviously Ladd Bradwick, 7.76. Mitch Berry's not there anymore. Ladd Bradwick's our weakest link for starters.
But he's our best ranked pitcher.
Yeah.
He's the highest ranked pitcher on our starting staff. Actually, he's the highest ranked pitcher in the entire staff. And like I said, he had 23 strikeouts.
Yeah. More reliables are our weakest starter / reliever. And Donnie Bowers is our weakest reliever.
Although, more reliable pitch, what? The third most innings? Oh wait, that's hits. What am I looking at?
41.
Innings pitched, 41. So no, that's not right. He gave up the third most hits, I guess.
Yeah.
56, 57. No, he's still the third. 41.1 innings pitched.
So,
third to Tobias Glover and then Fernando Beefy. Both of those guys are starters. More reliables, like a long reliever.
yeah, so I mean, like, so it's funny because I would have thought the other way around. I would have thought Boer was doing better than Leland, but the starter.
Yeah.
We got to take a look at Ladd. Relievers, starter / reliever, we take a look at Boer, and reliever, we take a look at Donnie Bowers. Those would be the guys we would consider moving if pitching was the thing. But like I know we mentioned, speed. Unfortunately, everywhere it goes, every time it goes in the outfield, it seems like it takes a long time for them to chase it down. And we had a lot of extra bases that we gave up that end up converting into somebody gets another outfield single and that brings them home. Yeah. So I think if we gave up some of that power in the outfield and picked up maybe 2 other fielders who can run the outfield, but that means you're looking at giving up who's in right field?
Repo Reeves?
Yeah, Repo Reeves. And maybe even Corbin Huerta.
Oh. Well, they got Haley Lancaster too. He's a backup left fielder, outfielder.
Yeah, the problem is, like, if you're going to give somebody, whoever we're going to give up offensive production, but if you get more defense, then you won't feel the loss as much, I think. So
that's what you hope.
The thought would be, if you're going to give up a big offense, would you give up Swindle, Corbin? If you're going to give up 2 of the 3 outfielders, of Swindle, Corbin, and Repo, I'd say Repo.
Yeah.
But then I think I'd rather give up Huerta than Swindle Heath. Swindle Heath won the home run contest during the year.
He did, and he was, again, I don't know, he was pretty solid. He was good for a home run. Again, I don't know, I kind of like Corbin Huerta, but like you were saying, he's got the wild thrower trait though too. So at times, and we're talking defense, he doesn't really help you because even when he gets the ball, you can't. There's a chance that his throw will be off the mark anyway. So it's not,
Yeah.
But he was a good bat to have. Although I think coming down the stretch, over the course, can you remember him in that last 3-game winning streak, or even in that final game, him really doing much at the plate? I know, like you say, Swindle Heath was doing some, and Spray Bellamy was hitting a couple, but I don't remember Corbin Huerta hitting very well.
Yeah.
In the last 4 games.
Yeah, I know. You're right. I think he had a couple streaks where he was doing really phenomenal.
Right.
But
Yeah, because before those 4 games, you had the 7-game losing streak. So he may have hit one here or there, but I don't mean, again, didn't really help us win anything.
yeah, there's the city.
Hey, City.
Hey, Dallas. Yeah, and I figure the stadium would be just to the left of this next bridge showing up at the left edge of the screen, probably. Right? Or is it that second bridge? That's about where it would be, because that's what the backdrop looks like from behind it. Anyway, yeah, I think probably Swindles maybe a little more consistent, and I also think if we let somebody go to a different team, I don't know if Corbin Huerta would be that great without our input.
Everything's
What's that? What'd you say?
stopped. Everything stopped for me.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Can't hear anything. I can't see anything. Everything's held up.
Oh, let's see here. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now, Pete? Wait a second here. All right, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Pete? You can hear me now,
Crunch.
right?
I can hear you now. Yeah.
All right.
I
Yeah.
can hear you now.
Some reason this thing just it just gets choppy after a while. All right, so hold on a second. Now, if I minimize it, can you still hear me? And see the screen? Hello there.
Okay.
You can hear me?
dropped out again. Your audio's in and out.
But you can hear me now, though. Oh, this sucks. All right, let's see here. What about what if we do this? All right, one second, folks. Let me try. I'm gonna try something out here. All right, I think we fixed it. You can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Hey, all right.
Yeah. The engine's running and everything.
See, yeah,
so
you
I'm
see-
not afraid of falling out of the sky.
Well, see here that little cable there. You're not supposed to pull that out.
Sorry. Was that the emergency brake?
That's when you kicked your leg up to put it over the sick cross leg. That's when it yanked that sucker right out. Anyway,
Well, I had to cut my toenail. Been a while.
on the slide. Anyway, I forgot where it is. Yeah, so we're just talking about the possibility. So I think generally speaking, before next season, the sort of the couple balls we juggle, do we consider pitching with one of those three that we outlined, or do we consider some speed and fielding in the outfield by giving up one of our or two of our pretty good hitters to get some defense and some guys that can run down a ball and make some catches and
Yeah.
hold the other team
That's
off.
the thing too, is like, do we try to get speed into like the left and right field, and then we could go with a slower runner in center, or do we go with a faster guy in center field to try and kind of cover those two areas? We're going around again, I think.
Yeah, looks like
There's a dog on the runway. So yeah, I'm really confused. I don't know what to do. For me, I kind of feel good about our pitching. I would be happy to jettison Donnie Bowers.
Yeah.
If we could get ourselves a nice, highly ranked relief pitcher. And I kind of feel good about Ladd Bradwick and Mitch Berry and Tobias Glover and Fernando Beefy going into the next season. I know that I'm going to work hard to try and help keep their ERA down.
Yeah.
And try to help them out that way, because I know there were a couple of games there where they weren't pitching really well, and I just was like, I'm gonna help them pitch out of it. I'm gonna help them pitch out of it. But the reality is they just wound up running up their ERA. So if they don't have it, they don't have it. Sit them down,
Yeah.
Bring in, especially since we saw Leland Bull and more reliable, and they were very competent and capable for going for long relief. So if that needs to happen, then we've got a couple of competent pitchers to do that with. So I'm going to be thinking more about the speed. We hit into a lot of double plays this season because we don't have the speed on the base paths. Like you were talking about, the speed in that outfield to help us with defense. I don't know. I thought Swindle Heath got faster over the course of the season, didn't
He may have.
he? Yeah,
We'll have to take a look at that. I don't remember where he
yeah,
started. I guess we got some footage. We could look at some of the old footage. I know one of the things I want to do in the off season is as as difficult as it sounds. I think I want to watch some of those one-sided losses back to
yeah,
try and pick apart and see what the catalyst was, and where we could have done something different, if anything.
yeah.
Get a better idea if it really was an electronic thing, or if it was um,
Right.
us missing an opportunity to do something. And then in those things too, also see if they're chock full of outfielders running down balls and people rounding the bases,
Right.
triples and doubles and all that crap. Um,
Well, that was the thing that really kind of killed us toward the end was the revolving double. You know what I mean? Where
yeah,
it's like somebody would come up, hit a double, the next person would hit a double, and that person, the first person would score, the next person would hit a double, that person would score, and it was like
yeah,
you just couldn't get it. You couldn't get anything going. You couldn't get it to stop. It's just they were like you were saying. They kept putting it down the corners or in the alleys, and then our fielders were running them down, but. Couldn't hold them to a single base and try to get the double play because they would hit and did it, hit the double.
yeah.
We didn't give up a whole lot of triples this year,
No,
maybe a couple, but yeah, the doubles are what killed us.
going around again.
Third time's the charm.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I think we're going around again. Anyway, uh,
This guy was really good at takeoffs and flight, but not so good at landings. So they're
yeah.
gonna try and get
So
somebody up here. No, we're coming down.
no, a little high on that second one. Anyway,
Oh yeah. Okay.
what I was gonna say, yeah, about that, with the outfits and the revolving doubles is a faster outfielder. Maybe they run and dive and grab one of those if it's close
Right.
enough, or they throw it in and get somebody as they're trying to get to second. We never saw any of that. We never see anybody get thrown out
No.
short of the double. They always
Right.
walked right up.
Yeah, and that was what reminded me about Corbin Hirta because there was a shot one time into center field, somebody trying to score from second. He makes the throw, and it was way off target. It was just way off target.
Yeah.
You're like, just no chance from center field. So, again, that's the other thing too about it is when you're in a situation where we're going to lose some players. So first of all, we're talking like we're going to return with all the same players, but.
Yeah.
That may not happen. So we may have holes to fill, and then two, there's going to be rookie players, and if we could pick up a good rookie for a relatively low price, I would not pass that opportunity up. Especially since we could develop him and kind of lock him in for a good long time and start to build around him. So there's a lot of possibilities that are going to open up. This is our first time going into the Super Mega Baseball 4 off season, so I'm not really sure what to expect, and
Yeah.
we'll have to see. So, but that's what I want to see now is let's find out who the champion of this season is, and then let's see who's still on the team, and then we
Right.
got X number of months to kick it around on the golf course.
Yeah, because so sometimes, like you said, your plans change when somebody decides they don't want to sign with you anymore. Then it's like, oh, like maybe there's somebody who leaves the team, and now it's like, oh, now we can get somebody faster. If maybe Repo decides to go, or Corbin goes somewhere else, and it's like maybe
Or
that's-
Swindle.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So
Because we're sitting here talking about how we'll build around Swindle. If he winds up walking
yeah,
and Noah McLean winds up retiring, you're like,
Right.
okay, that's two of our major offensive pieces that are gone now.
right. So that'll be interesting. So yeah, I guess for baseball on this channel in the next couple of weeks, you'll probably end up seeing the final out there. And again, if there's any other games we watch, it'd be on Tommy Naperville on Twitch. But then that'll be pretty much it for baseball until like maybe February, where we might go to Vegas and do the off season. Where they earmark some of the players and they start going through the rounds where people are getting signed.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Get a precursory look of who's on the wire, and Tommy and I will hash it out, see who we agree on, maybe proffering an offer sheet to, and we'll see what happens. But I'm excited about next season already. I'm already excited.
Yeah, it's fun. And in the off season, Pete, I mean, like, I think we always have a standing in, but we always played 2 nights a week. We would play for us on Wednesday and Sunday, and I'll be on both those days. We might get together. I think we'll probably do at least one of those once a week. And if we're both around, we could do twice. But there's also a lot of single player games that we both have that we could work in there too. So at least once a week we'll be doing something together that'll end up on our channels. And
that's Tommy's way of saying, just because baseball's over, don't go anywhere. We still got a lot of stuff. We got a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And we're gonna still try and make it fun, and hopefully you guys will come along for the ride, and then before you know it, we'll be starting baseball up again. So don't go nowhere. Stay tuned.
Yeah, we got our truck driving, our farming, our storm chasing. We have flashing lights we have to check out. And then the stuff with Eric and all that. Yeah, so we've got fun stuff. Keep it, and then all this, like I said, all the single player games. And Pete's got all the mechanic stuff that are constantly going on. Then you got some other ones in the lineup. I know I've got some I haven't done in a long time. So we'll have some fresh. We'll keep it fun in the off season.
Yeah, like you say, I got some of those single player games are like episodic. So it's almost like it's like reading a book. So I'm gonna do, if I get into them, which I would like to during the off season, I'm hoping to do at least an episode a week, so that we can keep up with the story and we don't forget where we're at, and we can hopefully get through the game. But that's the thoughts right now. It's just exciting to have some extra time. As Tommy said, I love playing Super Mega Baseball 4. I really do. But Tom's got it worked out perfectly. 38 games, I think, is just perfect, because you get to that 38th game and you're like, yeah, I can take a break for a while.
Yeah. Unless you're in the playoffs, in which case that gives you a little extra energy. But if you're not, then it's like, okay, good.
Yeah.
Cool. And it worked out with the structure too, of the number of teams. Because we had 44 last year, I think, and I think we were even more done at that point. But although we did win the championship with the B-Wolves.
Yeah, but that was the year before.
Yeah.
And like you say, fun. if you're heading to the playoffs and you're feeling good about the team, it's fine. But if you feel like you're not gonna win it, it gets a little long in the tooth. There's another plane coming in right behind us.
Yeah. All right, folks, we'll see you out on the golf course, on the farm, and all the other places that Pete and I will be. Thanks for hanging with us this whole season. Who are the guys you want to call out, Pete?
Samuel Thorne, big fan, and a great supporter of the Ramblers, and we appreciate you.
All right, thanks. We got the Canadian guy up there too. I'm forgetting your name, buddy, but we'll talk to you guys soon. Take care, folks.
Yeah. Bye-bye. Clear the aisle.